Okay, good afternoon, everybody. The City Council, Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, Successor Agency, Calexico Finance Authority, regular meeting is now in session at 6:45, today, October 2nd, 2012, at the Fernando Nene Torres Council Chambers. City Attorney, can you please provide direction regarding the closed session items?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council met and discussed items A through E on the closed session agenda. Direction was given and no reportable action was taken.
Thank you very much. City Clerk, still City Clerk, Luli Cordova. Please note that all 5 members of the council are here present. If we can go to the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will ask you, Luli, if you could lead us, please. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Moreno and second by Councilman Hodge. Please press the button to display your vote. Okay, passes unanimously, 5-0. So first goes to presentations. The first presentation to Mrs. Isabel Wong, more popularly known as Chavela, will not be able to be here with us today, so we will table this to the next meeting. There's another presentation of Certificate of Appreciation to Celia Lopez Beltran, La Ronda Seniors Club. Where I saw her, there she is. Okay, from here, I'll go ahead and hand the Certificate of Appreciation presented to Celia Lopez Beltran, La Ronda Seniors Club, for your enthused organization and promotion of a variety of social activities that engage our senior citizen community's interests while improving their health and fitness. Your motivational support in reaching out to our seniors and providing opportunities for increased physical and activity and community involvement has been instrumental in improving their quality of life. Your club activities and events that have raised social awareness of the vitality of our senior generation and redefined their role in our community. The City of Calexico thanks you for promoting the continued health of this important generation so that their knowledge and experience can be shared with future generations for years to come. Signed by yours truly, Daniel Romero, as mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Quiero dar las gracias por este reconocimiento en nombre del club, la Ronda Senior Club, a nombre de mis compañeras también, que también es de ellos este reconocimiento por su labor que hicieron para los seniors. Estoy muy agradecida también por poner cartas en el asunto, por la atención que dieron al salón que nos proporcionaron al club, por poner atención en lo necesario para los seniors. Tuvimos un pequeño problema, pero gracias a que puso atención el mayor, Luis Castro, y algunas personas que nos apoyaron en esto, se arregló. Creo que ya está solucionado y les doy las gracias. Muchas gracias por este reconocimiento. Disculpen que no hable inglés, pero ahí que les interpreten. Perdón.
Okay. Announcements, public appearance, public comments. Not to exceed 3 minutes. And it will be measured by, I'll ask Mr. Moreno to keep a clock on it. And as a reminder, at 2 minutes, 30 seconds, so you have 30 seconds, not 30 minutes, to conclude your presentation. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. Please direct your questions and comments to the city council. The first one,
I think our interpreter is a little louder than usual, I'm hearing. Are you guys being bothered by that? Oh, okay, we're hearing it all the way up here.
It's like an echo right here.
I'm sorry, but we were instructed to sit up at the front.
No, that's not it. I mean, what I'm hearing is the feedback, the headphones from someone using it. Oh, you done it?
We have one client that's using
Right, and I wanted to clear that up.
echoes that way.
It was the first time I heard the echo, that's why we normally don't have that
That
echo.
maybe was the position of the interpreter.
No, she's fine.
Okay, that's great.
thank you. All right.
You go, Rosie.
All right, Ruben Cáceres, Family Day on October 13th.
Hi, I'm Ruben Casares. I'm Marissa. I'd like to know I did get my haircut.
Saw that.
So,
Good job.
yeah, thanks to you. Okay, I'm Ruben Casares. I'm with Bruce Kuhn, Steve Benson. And what we're planning to do is we're going to have what's called a Family Day on October 13th. It'll be from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Crummett Park. We're going to have 60 piñatas completely loaded with candies. We're going to have some free jumpers. And this is going to be a good way to bring out the family. The great thing about October 13th is hopefully the weather will change. The temperatures will be a lot less. It'll be in the 80s and low 90 degrees. So this is a great opportunity for the families to bring out their children. We are going to have food vendors. So we're going to have tables. It's going to be a good event. We're going to advertise it by going to the neighborhoods, placing posters at various stores. We want to make this an annual event. We just don't want it for political reasons just for this year. We want to do this every single year. We want to have what El Centro has, their Children Fair. So this is going to be the beginning. 10 years from now, it'll probably be 3 times as large. So we're going to start the process. And fortunately, we are getting some donations. And I think this is going to be it's going to be great for the community of Calexico. I'm not from Calexico, I'm from Imperial. But, I've spent a lot of time here in Calexico, and I like being here. So it's going to be a great time. We're going to have some prizes, all sorts of toys for the kids. And so if you have any children, bring them out. They're going to leave with a big smile on their face. And we're inviting all the city council members who are running for re-election. You're invited to set up a booth, and I think this is going to be good for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good luck for your event.
Excellent idea.
Thanks.
Okay, 5K event, Diana Daniels.
Is really recording?
Yes, he does that.
Why is he doing that?
He does it.
Hello, I'm Diana Daniels. Each one of you should have a packet that I have. We're having an event, finally. It's going to be October 27th. It's called Halloween. It's a Halloween run here in Calexico at City Hall, Saturday, 8 a.m. If you want to register, you can register online. It's going to be through a website. It's called active.com. We have right now currently on Facebook over 600 members. The race is going to be $25, includes a t-shirt. It's going to be a fun run, which means nothing going to go crazy. We're just going to enjoy ourselves. Costumes are encouraged. Please, I encourage you to bring costumes for you and your pets. It's going to be a fun family day event. If you can't run, you can always walk. So it's a 5K run / 2K walk. I encourage everybody to be here. And just like the Family Day event, I hope this happens every single year and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And just like he said, I invite all the city council, especially people who are running for re-election, to set up a booth. This is what we actually need. Actually, let me go over what I gave you. What I gave you, the first thing is a flyer. We have an event letter after that, a sponsorship level. We have a generic flyer, which is less busy, a back shirt logo, and an event banner, which I hope to get made hopefully within a couple of weeks to be put outside here at City Hall. Like I said, it's going to be on the 27th at 8 a.m. at City Hall right here. We are looking for people to help donate, sponsor us. We need raffle prizes at the event to make the event more exciting. We need some gift donations. We want people just to step up. I mean, it's our city. Let's make it proud. I would like some help at the event. I want candidates, like I said, to bring their flyers, anything else that they think that they need. Also, FYI, drinks, maybe some Gatorade, some juice, bananas, snacks, whatever you think is going to be great for the event. I myself am a runner, and after a run, I like to eat. So FYI, if you guys want to bring some food over, it would be great to have. It's going to be a great event. I'm going to be there. I'm going to bring 3 of my dogs. I'm going to run. I'm going to have a costume on. I encourage you guys to bring costumes, your kids, your families. Just have fun with it. I mean, that's all I want this to be. It's just fun. Go ahead, sir.
Diana, is there an age requirement?
There's no age requirement.
Not for the animals,
No,
I'm thinking of high
no,
school
no,
children.
no. All ages, all sizes, every color, every gender.
30 seconds, Tina.
Anything's welcome. Please come support us, October 27th, Saturday, 8 a.m. Oh, and you have to register before the 23rd. If you do it after, I can't guarantee you a T-shirt. Okay?
Excellent.
Thank you, Dana. Good luck with this event.
It's going to be
I mentioned before, we'll be there. Okay. Morris Risen, water bill.
I'm going to wait until I'll be at the staff office. I'm going to wait for you.
Okay, thank you. Ben Horton, Charlie Family Care.
City Council, distinguished members of the city, I come up here to mention, and that you should have 2 sheets there, one that says Dear Friends, and one that talks about the packets. On October the 13th, I guess October the 13th is the day to have all the activities. We're going to have the first ever joint concert. We're going to have the state orchestra from Mexicali for the state. Also, we're going to have members throughout the valley, the young people, to play with the orchestra. We're going to have that take place at the Barberworth Country Club, which starts around 5:30, the event, and it's going to go all the way up to around 12 at night, different activities. And the reason why we're having this activity is to, let's say, a fundraiser for our new program, which is HELP, which is supposed to give our young people in reference to the education, tutoring, and counseling. And we're in the process of working with San Diego State to set up a certificate program to be given to the teachers. And it's a joint project that Charlie Family Care and San Diego State is going to be working on. And this is to enhance our teachers and to enhance their part on the teaching part. So there's a new innovation from Charlie, and Charlie is a program that's both in Riverside and Imperial County. I sit on the board of directors. I've been on the board of directors for going on about 8 years. So we're trying to, let's say, give a little bit to the community and also to help our young people. One of the things that's coming through with the state of California is the Common Core Standards. I'm sure those that are teachers here or administrators understand. We're going to be working with San Diego State, also with the school district, to enhance and to work with the school district to move this forward. It's supposed to take place, 2014? That's when it's supposed to be starting. So this is something new. Charlie's getting involved with the community, and we hope that we can have a little bit of support from you on this part. Thank you very much.
Mr. Horton, the HELP, we see the acronym for Help Educate Learners Performance Program. Can you share with us what CHARLEE stands for?
I should have
I don't
wrote
see it
that.
written here anywhere.
I should have wrote that down. It means
I put you
children's-
to a test, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's Children's Help Assistant Relation. It's something that I have to write down, but it's the acronym we use, Charlie. It's a nonprofit corporation, and what we do, and we've been working with both federal, state, and also county agencies to work with young people, some people that have been abused and neglected in their community. And we're set up both in Riverside and Imperial County. And it's a program that's been around for at least about, I would say about 50 years. And it's a program that you don't hear very much about. In Calexico, we have 2 homes in Calexico that are dedicated to that part. One of the homes is on 121 Birch across from Rockwood. We're revamping that home to make it into a, let's say, the kids call it the Charlie home. It's going to be our home for tutoring. And we have went to the max to refit the home with a very special alarm system that our great fire department helped us to put together. So we're doing our part and expending the money to bring something different. In fact, the fire department is going to help us to have a fundraising, which I believe this, that the community should be involved. Parenting is not just sending your kids to the school and that's it. The schools are not daycare, they're a point of learning. And sometimes we're so concerned about just dropping off and that's it. One of the things that we're going to be doing at home is tutoring plus. We're going to have a parenting program to show parents what it is to be a parent. Not that we're going to reinvent parenting, but we're going to show parents a little bit more about parenting. And the one that's going to be working on that part is Lucio Padilla. He's going to be working with that. And on the tutoring program, it's going to be Maria Navarro. So both teachers, they both have their masters. They both are very dedicated to the program. And Charlie is giving them the means in order to move forward with that program. And I hope that the community, if you have more questions about it, we do have a website. And I'll get that, I hope that we can maybe put it on the city website with more information. It's going to be on the school website. And like I said, we're involved. We want to be involved. Thank you.
Great
Thank
job.
you. Mr. Horton, you have also another one, banners in Calexico.
Well, from one point to another point. Well, in reference to the banners, and I'm sure everybody has seen certain banners with a certain individual that's been depicted. Let's say for it, I hope I can use the right word. He certainly has horns, and I'm not going to go into names or anything. As a candidate, I'm running for the school board, and as a candidate, I think that I should voice my opinion, how my disdain for it. Now, certain things are put across as freedom of speech, and freedom of speech is something that we should respect each other's right with freedom of speech. And some people taking the freedom of speech to the point where it's not really freedom of speech, it's the ability to mock somebody. And as a candidate, I am now saying that I deplore this. If there's other candidates here, I have a slip here. You can pick this slip up. You can say, I'm for it, I'm against it, but don't get on the fence and just straddle it. I'm making it a point that this is something that Calexico is better than not to have. Calexico is a great city. I was born in Calexico. I love my city. I love my fellow Calexicoites. I do my best. If I have a disagreement, I have the respect to disagree. Then later on, we can have a Coke together. We are not here to mock our candidates, to make them look like that they're something that they're not. Anybody that's willing to put on this part about to run for office or to be in office has taken the best point to serve our community. When I was young and I'm not exactly that old yet, but when I was young, we looked upon anybody that's in an office as like a father or a mother, somebody that has wisdom, somebody we can learn to respect. We may not like the person, but we can respect the office. And the office is something that we should always respect. I realize that I may not please some people, and I don't use any names, but I say, as for myself, I deplore this. I deplore this with the most strongest of words. When I was 9, I remember, and I'm going to use a phrase.
Mr. Horton, 30 seconds.
Okay. When I was young, I remember how the policemen in the South with their dogs used to run people down. It was legal. Let's remember that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll go to general comments by council members. Councilman Hunch.
No, sir.
Uh,
8:30.
Mr. Moreno.
Well, I'll just got a couple of things. I want to congratulate Ms. Daniels for getting that walk, run, 5K, 2K off the ground. We look forward to that event. It's been somewhat frustrating, but we finally did it. Well, she did it with our help, I guess a little help. Also, I'd like to announce that Mr. Hodge will be auditioning tomorrow or Saturday for the talent show. So that should be something that we're all waiting for. And I know you'll do good, Bill. And the auditions are October 6th for the CLXC talent show, and then October 20th is the actual show itself. Very excited to have that. I hear we're getting some Hollywood royalty coming in, so that should be good. And October is, and you know, to steal some of your thunder, Mayor, is football time. And our CLXC Bulldogs, I want to say for the record, are 5-0, which had. Which hasn't happened since 1993. I've been on the radio for 19 years. This is my 19th year, and I've seen a lot of dry seasons. And finally, we've got some feast in this season, and it brings a sense of pride within the community. And I think we all should be proud of our community. Football is a way of bragging to our fellow Valleyites that, you know, hey, CLXC is doing good this year. We should be proud of what's going on. This Friday, there is a football game in CLXC at Ward Field, hosting our league opener against Brawley. I know that our police department will be there, providing safety and security. I know a fire department will be there, providing their professionalism in case someone gets injured. And in the last few games, there have been some injuries, but not with the Bulldogs, with the other team. So hopefully we continue that. I don't want to say that, no. Hopefully it goes well for everyone. But I also want to remember that if you're a Bulldog alumni or if you're a proud CLXCian, to stand proud and to go about your daily business with a sense of self-worth, something that you feel is good for the community. CLXC High School is celebrating its 100-year anniversary this year. And I know most of us on the council, a lot of people in the audience are CLXC grads, and that's something to be proud of, especially now that we're winning, but even when we're not winning, you know, win or lose, we're always going to be proud Bulldogs. I also want to say that with this 100-year anniversary, I hope the city gets involved as much as it can to assist the school in whatever type of activity that they're going to do. I've talked to some of the administration down there and teachers, and they're looking at putting together a yearbook of sorts for the centennial of CLXC High School. I also want to remind everyone that it is also breast cancer awareness, and that hopefully that you wear two colors in the month of October for football. Wear garnet and pink to honor those like Mayor Pro Tem Maritza Hurtado, breast cancer survivors, and to try to help the community in whatever way you can. So hopefully the Bulldogs keep winning and we fight this battle against breast cancer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Mr. Castro.
No comments.
Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado.
More time for me. As you said, John, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and you'll be seeing pink all over the place. And I myself, together with Hildy Carrillo of the Chamber of Commerce, are organizing quite a number of events for this month. I'll mention 3 of them that are probably the most important ones so far, which actually this Saturday is Pretty in Pink. It's going to be a luncheon and a fashion show at the Cultural Arts Center. And that'll be from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And it's going to be a very special luncheon for mothers, daughters, sisters, grandmothers, and they want you to wear your beautiful large hats. The next event for October would be the Think Pink Art Show, and that's going to be also at our Cultural Arts Center. And that will start, it's going to be a 2-week event. It'll start the 17th of October through the 27th of October, and the show times will be from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, okay? And my most favorite one, which is an event that, because I am a 10-year survivor this year, we are going to be putting together a celebration together with Hildy, the Chamber of Commerce, and that one is called the Think Pink Gala Fundraiser, and we'll be benefiting the Between Women nonprofit organization based out of Brawley that goes out into our communities through promotoras at the different clinics and visit with women who are struggling with breast cancer or survivors, and are an awesome, awesome group of ladies that are there to support you and hold your hand. So that event will be October 27th. It is a gala, so you got to dress up. All the guys are going to wear pink ties, hopefully. And that'll be at the Dianza Hotel lobby. So tickets information, you can have that information from me or from Hildy. So thank you very much in your support. Got to do something about, like you said, this terrible disease. I know I'm one of the lucky ones, so I'm out there trying to do my best to promote this cause and give everybody hope. So hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado. Before I go for my comments, I will ask Melissa Gamboa to come forward. Just to let you know, this is under an exemption. Once comments by council members begin, oral communications are not accepted unless it's for one of the agenda items beyond the consent calendar.
Hi, my name is Melissa Gamboa. I am a teacher here at CLXC at Ricambana Junior High, and we're just here to talk to you about Proposition 30, and we hope that you can help us out in passing that proposition. Proposition 30 will not only help our public schools, but it will also help our public safety, and we know that we need firemen and policemen out there to help keep an eye on our students and our children. If Proposition 30 does not pass, our district alone is looking at losing about $3,859,000 this school year, which will be in effect in January. So we really want the community and our parents, everybody to vote yes on 30, because that will make sure that this is a tax initiative to help public schools and our public safety. And not only it goes from preschool all the way to our San Diego State that we have right here locally. So we just wanted to inform you on that and hope we can spread the word.
Thank you.
That's it.
Come in. Okay. Ready? This is going to be more of an extraordinary comments as a member of the council, and I wish for you to focus only on that these are comments as a member of the council. Go ahead. The CPOA, or the Calexico Police Officers Association, a nonprofit organization, is led by their president, Rudy Alarcón, and vice president, Mr. Casillas, who is known in some circles as Tiger. The CPOA must not be confused with the police department and its staffing as a whole. They have initiated using their nest egg for the upcoming November 6th election by spending their hard-earned money on negative publicity, currently towards one candidate, instead of using it to promote their 3 endorsees. Permitting me to display to what I have been informed was their first creative experience, and they were naturally very proud of their accomplishment, and now more so than ever since it's being displayed in this council meeting. I will admit I was disappointed that the rumors became true. I became upset when my wife saw the image for the first time, and then became seriously concerned what my parents' reaction would be, especially that of my mother. Note that my father is a pioneer in Calexico, born here in 1929, while the leadership of the CPOA does not even live in Calexico. Their choice by displaying the image before you of one of their 5 council members troubles me and should trouble you. The immediate message is that they do not respect anyone who doesn't give in to their demands. By the way, and on this note, I was endorsed by the CPOA in 2008. Maybe one day they will realize that this is not the path to take. Our citizens deserve so much more consideration and respect. This may have a negative impact on the upcoming elections to yours truly, but more so, it has an embarrassing impact to their image, not as CPOA members, since it appears that they are indifferent about it, but as police officers and their brothers in the department. The citizens, those that are vulnerable to suggestion, may believe I represent this image, but they will also wonder, why is my police officer doing this to one of my council members? As officers, they are here to protect us from the criminal elements, but who is to protect us while they serve as members of the CPOA? They say a police officer is on duty 24 hours per day, regardless if in uniform or not. If this is true, then how is it that they can do this when they are not in uniform? Who is to believe that they do not do this while they're not in uniform or in uniform? A troubling thought came to my mind, but at this time I will not share it. I will keep it to myself. Let's look at this image. I first thought, nah, it can't be the Calexico Police Officers Association, even though their initials are right there on the lower right-hand side. Now, it can't be the mentioned association, since I recall police presence when this happened inside the council chambers and out on the street. Now, it can't be the association, since they were parked in the red, and those officers outside chose not to cite the owner of the vehicle. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a vehicle owned by someone that's parked in the red right in front of City Hall. Which the vehicle, I was informed, is owned by a member of the CPOA's leadership. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Calexico Police Officers Association. I hear that they are not finished, and so be it. They will continue to trash our community's image. Only in Calexico has been repeated too many times. This effort is another strain or another stain on our community. Rumors are circulating that this is far from over, and I believe it. I also wish to assure them and you that this presentation is only a beginning. As mayor, or even as a council member, the sense of belief that I and my family are being protected from these same members is now in doubt. Nick? That's all we'll share. We'll go to general fund departments, consent calendar. Do we have a motion?
I'd like to pull 3 and 4, sir.
I'd like to pull item 11, please.
I will pull item number 1. Okay, is there a motion? If there's no one else will pull any of the items, anybody will motion for approval of number 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, and 13?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Hodge, second by Mr. Moreno. Please press the button to display your vote. Five zero. Okay, item number 1, I only noted one, city clerk. Page 3 on item number 1. Chief of Police asked council to vote in favor of the van, V-A-N. I believe he meant the band. The band, B-A-N, B as in boy, A-N. I didn't want to have to go maybe through discussion of purchasing a van. That's it for my comments noted, and I'll motion for its approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Please, there's a motion by yours truly, second by Mr. Moreno. Please press the button to display your vote. Passes 5-0. Item number 3 and number 4, Mr. Moreno. I don't know if you want to go item by item or
I'll
both
go
combined.
both of them, and I think that Ms. Gamboa made it clear on these items that as a former United Food and Commercial Worker employee and teacher, I think it's critical that we examine this situation that the state of California is in. Many of the middle-class employees are the backbone of the United States of America, and specifically the state of California and the city of Calexico. And I would like to thank Mr. Chad Cooper for bringing it to my attention. He is the Associated Calexico Teachers President, and may I add, doing a fine job of leading that union organization. I think that if we support our teachers and support our public safety employees and all middle-class employees, that our community will be stronger, our community will have more to give, more services to provide, and that our lives will be in a much better position. Please remember that these propositions are extremely critical for the success of not only Calexico, but of the United States of America and the state of California, which right now is in dire straits. And we can't see it take a continued downward spiral that it's been taking. I love my community, as many of you do as well, and we need to support this wholeheartedly. Also, there's another measure on there that you should take a look at as well, and that's number 38. I'm not here to promote that one, but that also is one that we should also take a look at. The Munger Bill, which is also important for education. And if we continue to cut education, the only one suffering will be us, because we need to have a strong working force in our communities. If through education we can get that, and if our education's system is limited in its resources and its quality instruction, then all of us are going to suffer. Governor Brown needs to reevaluate our investment, and our investment has to be in the future of our children. Thank you very much.
I'd like
you.
to make a comment. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Hodge.
I also was approached by Chad Cooper, and thank you, Councilman Moreno, for those words. I absolutely concur and support everything you said. Just remember, yes on 30, so that we can halt or prevent further huge budget cuts into our education. I know the district is doing its best to accommodate with budgets that have come before, but it has a great impact on the quality of teaching. As a teacher, I understand that. I started off with 40 kids in my class. Thank God it's gone down to 36. but the ratio is very important. It's difficult to give meaningful instruction and more personal instruction when you have children of 40 in your class. So if we don't, if 30 doesn't pass, it's going to be worse. And who's going to suffer the most is our children and their education. So please, yes on 30. 32, the wording sounds as if it's fair. It's an equitable proposition that corporations and unions will be prohibited from, if I understand this right, making automatic deductions from their constituents in the case of the union. That would, if that passed, that would gut out and weaken the union. Now, unions are not perfect, but historically, unions are extremely important for working class people, professionals. It sets the working conditions, collective bargaining, gives fair wages and pay and benefits, and it's the only kind of protection that a working person has. And corporations empirically are a lot more powerful than unions. That's a fact. That's not my opinion. And so, and they don't have to do that. They don't have to. They would have their super PACs. They would be able to give, disclosed, as they're doing now in campaign, as much money to their causes. But as union and working people and firefighters and police officers, we would lose that base of empowerment. And that would also have the impact on our community, our citizens, our children. So please, no on 32, no on 32, yes on 30, no on 32. Thank you. We need your support for your benefit and for the benefit of our professionals, and teachers, firefighters, police officers, and most of all, our children. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Mr. Moreno, you pull the item?
Yes, I'd like to motion for its approval.
I'll second that.
3 and 4, or one at a time?
3 and 4 at the same time?
Sure.
Okay, motion by Mr. Moreno to approve line 3 and 4, second by Mr. Hodge. Please press the button to display your vote. Passes unanimously, 5-0. Now we'll go to item number 11, Councilman Hodge.
Okay, give me a minute here to. First of all, I commend Mayor Romero, I commend Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado on being on the subcommittee for the pool, along with the school district and city manager and staff involved. I am pleased, and I'm sure the rest of you are, to see that this is moving along about our pool. Lack of funding, it's been difficult, no fault of anyone in this case, but it's been long overdue to get this going, and I'm very pleased to see we're taking important steps. I just have some strong suggestions, not to undermine their hard work and leadership. As they agree, I agree that this is a top priority, our pool, to have an Olympic pool. And I was wondering and thinking, I think it would be important, if you haven't even moved on this, that we get definitely Parks and Recreation involved in a way. They should be a partner in this process in however manner that would be appropriate. I'd like to see Sandra Toller put the issue of the pool on their Parks and Recreation agenda. And I just had some concerns, and I know they will be worked out. I hope we have somewhat what you call a point man on this process, and I'd like to see an update as soon as possible of a business plan and a timeline. Maybe I'm being premature. Maybe this first step has to come. But if that's the case, down the road, that would make me feel comfortable and everybody comfortable, a more tangible evidence that this is happening, business plan and timeline.
I think what Mr. Hodge is trying to say is, when can he take a plunge?
That's right.
In the pool, or this is the first step. This is the first formal step that allows the city to engage with the school district in putting together the requirements of the Joint Powers Authority, which will be the vehicle that will be utilized to move forward with the administration and the financing of this public pool. The next step that will come forth is the actual commitments that the different organizations will provide financially, which is the biggest one, but also in the JPA will be the authority of the different bodies, governmental bodies and school district as to what their responsibilities are going to be. So this just is a kickoff to start putting together that whole documentation, which will come back as a joint powers authority and guidelines and financing tool, which would then be approved by the different bodies, which will then have the substance, the meat of what we are going to be utilizing.
And some time down the road, if I have the right usage, a business plan would be worked out about.
Right, the business plan is going to be really in the JPA documentation, because that will show where the financing is coming from, how it's going to be utilized, and what the responsibilities of the different agencies are going to be.
In the realm of planning and looking ahead, prioritizing, could we have a tentative timeline of major processes or steps that need to be taken, like you just indicated? This is the first one. What would be the next? I would like to have that personally so I could follow along, and maybe others would.
What's one of the things that's being developed is what a lot of organizations use as a critical path. And in your critical path will show your milestones as to what you hope to accomplish, when you hope to accomplish this, who is responsible, and it's overlaid with the financing tool. So all of that, and my expectation is that as we do the JPA, that all of that will be laid out in reference to the milestones and who's responsible, and sure.
I could have a hard copy?
Sure, at that point in time.
Thank you.
One of the things with the JPA, you mentioned regarding parks, the swimming pool would be the immediate project, but if there could be other projects that would be tied into it, there's always that possibility. It's already complex enough trying to get one project completed. The JPA will not be formed for the exclusively of that one project alone. It's going to, it's expected to encompass other areas, even including Mr. Hodge, and I'll say even Mr. Moreno, that you two talked about maybe a separate pool at a different location. This is something that JPA can also embrace. Now, the one thing is, and which is critical under all of this creation, is not only, it's a case of the language within the JPA, but once a JPA has been formed and committed, formed and created, that's when you're going to see the commitments from the city and the commitments from the school. So right now, it's really only in talking stages.
Okay.
But as you said, this is something, we've had meetings since last year, and I'm going to say early last year, that we've come to this point today. Obviously, it was interrupted with the issue with the city of Calexico, with the closing of the redevelopment agency, and also with the school district with its financial strains from the fall of last year to this year.
Is there any way that Parks and Recreation need to play a role in the process?
Not in this process right now. Right now, the swimming pool, the immediate project is on city school property, not on city property, on school property, not on city property. And once we get this thing on its way, we don't want to, at this time, include other projects, because that in itself will delay the development of the swimming pool.
All right, very good.
All
Thank
the
you.
energies, resources to be focused on one, and hopefully we can get this thing completed. Ideally, it would be by the summer, before the summer begins, but it's more likely it'll be after the
This
summer.
upcoming summer?
It could be by the next summer. Obviously, if everything falls into pieces at the right time, maybe it will not be available for summer programs, but hopefully that the high school could open it up for CIF competition.
Thank you.
As a new sport.
Just for information, as we deal with multi-organizations, obviously the deal becomes more complicated. As you know, having deal with the schools have to go through the state architect. and all their plans have to go through the state architect. So that's going to require more time. So there's certain things, because we are in a joint venture with the school district, there's certain requirements that they have that we have to honor.
Right, and the whole thing is, however long it takes, we're going to keep pressing forward. Pedal to the metal. It says your item, is there any other discussion by the council members?
Mayor, may I?
Yes.
Yes, I would like to recommend that on the issue of the swimming pool, that the commissioners, like beautification commissioner, also the recreation department commissioner for every council member, that can participate in any meetings that you and Mayor Pro Tem, the Mayor Pro Tem has, so they can help us with ideas or any solution regard to any benefit for the cities. So I would like to mention that. I heard that this project is going to start on our district property, right?
School district, yes.
School district property. So that's my
Well, and that's the
concern.
idea, right, and that's what the idea with the JPA, by forming this JPA, it would be a separate entity, and that separate entity, the city and the school will give input to that entity to how to go forward. And once we are able to create that entity, then we can bring in the other resources that you mentioned.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Castro. Mr. Hodge, this is the item that you pulled. You want a motion for its approval?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve this item, number 11.
Is there a second?
Yes, second.
Motion by Mr. Hodge, second by Councilman Moreno. Please press a button to display your vote. Passes unanimously, 5-0. Okay, public hearing for proposed lease to Dole Fresh Vegetables to lease property located at 465 West 2nd Street, and approval of 5-month lease term with Dole Fresh from November 1st, 2012 to April 1st, 2013. City Manager?
You've kind of hit the major points already just in your opening statements, and we've been doing this with Dole Fresh. This will be their 7th year that we've allowed this. We have the property available. It allows them for a pickup and drop-off point for their seasonal workers, which is very encouraging for the city, because we have one location within a particular property that they take care of their employees. Their buses are parked there, the employees' cars are parked there, that's where they pick them up, that's where they drop them off. So we don't have the issue of them parking or dropping off their employees throughout the whole city. So it makes it very, very convenient. They have their own site. They provide all of the improvements to the site as per the requirements of the city. And so we're certainly looking forward to continue this relationship with them. It is for a 5-month lease period. So what we're asking you tonight is to take public input on this proposal, and then once you close the public hearing, we're asking you consideration for approval of this item.
This is something that has been repeated from the past.
Yes, this is our 7th year.
Thank you. City Attorney, no comments before we proceed?
None at this time.
Thank you. Okay, we'll open the hearing, the public hearing at 38? All those,
In favor? That goes first, I think.
not necessarily. Okay. All those against this item, please come forward and share your concern. There are none. Now, anyone that is in favor of this agreement, please come forward and show your support. There are none, so we close the public hearing at 7:49. A lot of discussion. City Attorney? Now we just go for its approval or comments by council members? Mr. Hodge? I'm sorry?
Councilmember comments.
Okay. Mr. Hodge?
No comment, sir.
Mr. Moreno?
I believe this is something we do every year. Is
For
that
7
correct?
years.
Yes, this would be the 7th year.
I have no comment.
Mr. Castro?
There is no problem. There is something that this company, they can benefit from that parking and also the city of Calexico, so I agree on that.
Thank you, Mr. Castro. Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado?
I just have a question. Being that this is a time period that's not a full year, are we still charging a business license for the use of this lot?
Yes, we are.
That's all.
I have no comments. There has been a good history, and I see why not do it again this year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Moreno, second by Councilman Hodge. Please press the button to display your vote. Well, there you go, 5-0. Thank you. Informational items, remember, unless you wish to discuss on any one item, it can just be acknowledged as receipt. Number 15, presentation by Fire Chief Mercado on safe and sane fireworks. Who's here to be part of that presentation?
Mr. Felix.
City Council, Humberto Felix, Calexico Fire Department Inspector. Chief Mercado's out of state on business, so he provided a staff letter on a report. There was no incidents to report due to the safe and sane fireworks. There was 4 groups that had the stance, and 3 of them, as of today, 3 of them have reported their...
How many have not reported?
3. 3 have reported as today, and 1 is pending, and they should have it by Wednesday next week.
Mr. Felix, in the approval by Fire Chief Mercado in the sale of safe and sane fireworks by these groups, were there stipulations in there, if you know, by when they should be giving the information to Chief Mercado?
Yeah, it was no later than September 27th. So-
September 27th?
Yes.
And only one of the 4?
At that time, 1 of the 4 had submitted, and yesterday, 3 of them submitted their, 2 of them submitted, so it's 3 that submitted their financial statements, and it's only 1 missing, and they're working on it.
Can you please name the 4 groups?
The one that complained was Lourdes Cordova. Memorial.
Cordova? I mean, Lulic,
Border Bandit submitted theirs, and Baja Runner submitted. And the last one is pending.
and that is by?
That should be the girls softball, PALS. It's Calexico Police Association.
CPOA?
Yes.
Interesting. Since you have no other additional information, can you follow up with Chief Mercado? I would like for this item to be presented again at the next council meeting.
Sure.
Regards to specific information on numbers, how much was sold, what was the, I guess, the estimated sales tax that the city of Calexico will benefit from, what their primary purpose was for securing these donations through these efforts, and if they have fulfilled all of their obligations, their respective obligations.
He'll have a full report when he comes back.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pena.
Thank you.
16, status on business license delinquency list as of September 19th, 2012. Mr. Quinn, again, a lot of concerns. Go just to the second page, 629,933. Includes all applicable penalties, 3 years of prior delinquent balances, and all applicable fire inspection fees, on an average of $157,000 a year. Can you give us any kind of information? What has been, how the follow-ups by your department or code enforcement in getting these reduced?
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. We have a quarterly report coming up, the next council meeting, where we'll have as much information as we can on the payments during the last quarter, comparing where we were in July versus where we are now, to see any reductions and what the effect of the payments has been, and where the payments or where the collections have occurred. I might also point out that we've had some discussion and we've had some conversations with the building department and code enforcement, and we're currently evaluating the effectiveness of the work that the code enforcement people have done, because they've scoured the city and made several visits to businesses, and we're now comparing the files against the delinquency list to see what the end result of that is in terms of closed businesses, some that may be closed or temporarily closed or changing the name. There are all kinds of possibilities there, but there is quite an extensive list of businesses that are potentially closed, which will cut down this delinquency list. Doesn't make the debt go away, but it does help us in determining who's out there or not. So we might be coming back with, when this evaluation or analysis is done on the, is done on the list, we'll be coming back to council and making some recommendations for sending some items to collection. And right now, we don't have an estimate of what that amount might be, but we will have it at the quarterly report.
Okay, well, this comes to mind for one of my future agenda items for today. Thank you, Mr. Quinn. I don't know if anybody, City Manager?
Just to add to the comments, directed staff to go ahead and put together a policy, draft a policy specifically that will address the bad debts and collections of bad debts. And normally those policies refer to efforts that are being made to collect the debt. And after a certain amount of time, then it allows staff to turn that over to a collection agency and write off the accounts. So we will be preparing that particular policy to come back to you, as well as direction has been given to staff to go ahead and update the list, because the list is outdated in the sense that there are a lot of businesses that are no longer in operation. So you should get a true feel of how many people are actually in operation that are delinquent and how many are no longer in operation. So we will be bringing that information back to you.
Well, obviously, it's important to know who is no longer in operation, so those numbers are not reflected here. But what is critical is that the ones that are still in existence are meeting their responsibilities and obligations. Now, I mean, it's come before us where downtown businesses are coming in demanding services, and some of these speakers have not made their commitments. So we need to address those issues. Again, this is something that I have as a future agenda item, and we'll take it from there. Mr. Quinn, you have it under fiscal impact none. Can you explain this? I mean, we are talking about quite a money. How could this not be a fiscal impact?
Mayor, it's probably a reflection on the vagueness of what fiscal impact is.
Well, then give us your version.
I can give you two sides of it. One is, yes, of course, there's some fiscal impact if you consider that you're not collecting your revenue right away. It's delaying, it's causing some cash flow issues. On the other hand, because we don't have a good grip on what the real amounts are, it's difficult to associate it with anything in the financial statements. So in terms of the financial statements, it really is an unknown impact.
Well, aren't these numbers somehow reflected on the budget?
Well, we have estimates on what we would receive in revenue from business licenses, but that usually comes from renewals. And we don't have any estimates in there for the should we say, non-collectibles.
So it's an issue of having no teeth to collect these things.
I'm sorry?
That there is no teeth for code enforcement to go after these collections.
That's part of it.
Could it be
Okay.
the fact that maybe it's not an action item, but more of an informational item, that there would not be an impact per se?
You mean here in the,
Here on the agenda, it's an informational item, it's,
well, fiscal impact of $600,000?
well, we know that, but unless we take action, then there will be a fiscal impact.
Even if we don't take action, there's a fiscal impact.
Well, we know that, but maybe
So-
because of the agenda, if it was in the business item, maybe with some type of action.
Well, it's again, we need to have better information on what the amount of the delinquencies might be, as well as how much we potentially could collect. I don't think we'd want to, at this point, we would want to give you a number, because it just isn't something we can estimate right at this point, estimate accurately.
Okay. All right, well, maybe when your department is able to give us a clearer picture, then you yourself can give us a clearer picture of its fiscal impact. Thank you. Any questions?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I do.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem?
On a related issue, when someone comes into the city of Calexico and applies for a business license and pays these fees, there's a part of the application that talks about their workers' comp coverage. Is that actually an important part for us as a city, and we'll be monitoring that our businesses are also complying with workers' comp? Because I saw that you're also separating
Fire
the
department
way that we
fees.
monitor businesses, where it's like regular businesses from whatever area of Calexico, and then you have the swap meets, which we know that, and the price center types of businesses that are, well, that part there, that, I've always been curious, that question, why are we asking that question on the application for a business license?
That's a good question. I'm not sure I can, the workers' comp issue is for those businesses that have employees, and they are required by state law to have workers' comp. We, as a city, can't really enforce that. I just don't think it's well placed on the application, but that was, I've not taken any action at this point to alter the application form itself.
Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado, maybe we can give direction to city manager to bring in a presentation at the next meeting, the need for the information that you're asking for, and then maybe we can get a legal interpretation from it if necessary.
That would be very helpful, especially for the public to understand.
Sure, we can do that.
Thank you.
Any other comments? So I guess we go to acknowledge receipt. Now we go to status report on 1000 Pollen Avenue. Any questions? This is with Director Servin.
Just would like to make one comment that you do not have in your backup, because obviously we told you what the situation is, but I'm sure the next question is, so what are you doing about it? So we did not have that information on there. The property of 1000 Pollen Avenue was visited by code enforcement staff. Investigation indicated that the vacant lot has branch clippings and some trash at the corner of the lot. Code enforcement issued a notice of violation to the owner to remove and clean the property. Property owner is given until October 5th to clean the property.
Friday. So by this Friday.
Yes.
So maybe at the next council meeting, you can give us an update, what's going on with this. Acknowledge receipt, it's fine, council?
Yes.
Okay, 18, status report on Melrose Store, 220 East 2nd Street.
we are reviewing that situation and taking appropriate action.
Any questions? No? Acknowledge receipt. Status of bus shelters and bus stops. Mr. Servina, any questions? This is something that you have touched on over and over again. Mr. Hodge.
Well, Mr. Savine, thank you. Okay. Appreciate this list. And I am interpreting right, bus shelter coverage?
Yes.
So as we look down the list, most of them have shelter, correct?
There's a lot of shelters. There's a few places we'd like to put some more.
I will step up and do my part when I see TC and being proactive, and I think it would be a great goal to get them all sheltered, right?
Yes.
Well, at this point, I have no further questions. I will do my part, and I will collaborate with you, sir, but thank you for the list. I appreciate that.
Another thing we're trying to do is we're trying to do some advertising on the shelters so that we could maintain them without any cost to the city.
The burden to the city, that's great. Any other questions? Mr. Castro?
Yes, I have a question to Mr. Servin. The bus shade that is on Grant and Cloak, right in front or beside the fire station, is still there?
Yes, it is.
And I think there are no buses pass through that route. Those the Imperial Transit pass through Cloak in Grand, but not through that direction. So, I mean, that bus shade doesn't work for the customers. So, do you have plans to move that bus shade from that position, because nobody used that?
I definitely need to ask a question, though. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
I'm sorry?
Please forgive me. I need to ask a question. Yesterday in our meeting with regard to buses and things like that, I believe you had to recuse yourself, Mr. Castro. Is it appropriate, being that I thought he recused himself because there was a conflict?
For
what? What?
Relationship that.
Wait,
Why did we recuse yourself?
Oh, because he's talking about the bus shelters.
Yeah.
So let me clear.
understand?
I wanna clarify that, because I'm representing the city. We're talking about bus shades, and we're looking for the benefit of the city. And I want to hear that from the lawyer.
Right, I understand that this is an informational item and not any action is going to be taken at this time. I wasn't present last night when we related to the conflict issue, but I understand that that matter is going to be dealt with at a future meeting. Is that right?
Yes. I just wanted clarification that if yesterday Mr. Castro needed to recuse himself, will he need to recuse himself every time we're talking about our bus systems here in Calexico?
That I'm not sure about, but I know that tonight's an informational item and that no action is intended to be taken by the council.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you.
This is-
Mr. Kim, you're not.
Mayor,
Go
may
ahead.
I?
Yes, you may.
That's, you know what? This is very sad because my colleagues, they think for every situation about transit, they especially my colleague Maris Hurtado, she's very concerned about transit service. But that's kind of sad that instead to take care around more than, how much? Probably 10,000 customers that we didn't help them, how they go to their jobs, or students. They they talking about obstacles. I didn't see no solutions. And this is something bad because
Mr. Castro, are you talking about the busing service? Or you're talking about the shelters for the bus?
I'm talking about shelters. Shelters is related to the citizen. And I notice
But where
every
did
time.
10,000 citizens come to the bus shelters?
Definitely, yes. I mean, the people are using the bus and the shelters.
Okay.
So my concern is that is very sad. Instead to support these issues,
We are supporting these issues.
well, that's the way you see it, Mayor. Okay, that's it.
No, the needs of the bus shelters and bus stops, as Councilman Hodge has brought up, are being addressed. Correct, Mr. Servin?
He didn't. I'm sorry. Did you answer my question, Mr. Servin? I kind of lost. He was.
What was your question?
Okay, my question was that there's no need for that bus shades on that direction that I'm telling you.
Cloak and-
What's gonna be the update on that?
You asked
bus
me,
shade?
you asked me if the bus shelter was located in front of the
Fire department, yes.
Right,
Yes,
that's
yes, it
cloak and
is.
There's one there?
Yes, there's one there. And it was erroneously put there previously. Well, it just doesn't make sense. But anyway, I looked into it, I talked to ICTC. ICTC mentioned that right now the bus does take advantage of going down to that location and making a U-turn. It's illogical. However, the location more appropriately to be located would be at the northwest corner of Cloak and Grand. However, the bus needs to make a left turn there, so the bus shelter would be on the most westerly part, so the bus would then have to make a sharp turn to the left just to get across onto Grant. So you actually exacerbate a problem there. More appropriately, it would probably be best to put it up Cloak some ways. There are some encroachments. We already talked to some some residents out there because their fences are encroaching into the area that we were going to try to move that bus shelter, and so we didn't. We held off, especially after ICTC indicated that it wouldn't be a problem. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, I would like to recommend if you move that bus shade to Grant and I believe Grant and Erie, there is a need for the students who every day are waiting for the bus up there, and there's no bus shade. So it's only a recommendation because they are not going to use the one on Cloak and Grant. So that's my recommendation.
What I'll do is I'll coordinate with ICTC because they need to inform all their bus routes, bus drivers and patrons where the bus stops are located and the shelters located, and update their system. In addition, they're going to be doing a study for us for internal bus system for a proposed orange line within the city to allow more express routes
Right.
to other areas, instead of having them stop here and there and just take an hour to get to IBC.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman
That's it.
Kennedy,
I'm sorry.
Where do you recommend it to be moved? What?
Grant and Erie.
Erie and
Oh,
Grant,
Grant and Erie, okay.
almost in the corner.
I want to learn here,
Sure.
Mr. Savine, can we actually dismantle a bus shelter, pick it up and locate it someplace else?
Yes, you can.
Well, if not Grant and Erie, maybe some other places that are in need, based on the insight that Councilman Castro gave. Another issue, I brought this up, I swear, Mr. Savine, I have seen numerous times, but I don't know what's going on. It's on Heber, right up here, about a half a block from 98. I see people standing, if you're coming up, on the left-hand side, waiting. And there's no bus, there's no indication of a bus stop.
Where's that?
Where at?
Okay, forgive me, this is the past, but it was a former councilman who had cancer and his home was on Heber. It's a little
Pat
farther
Hashem.
up.
Oh, you're talking about on Heber Avenue?
Yes, on Heber. And I've seen
Yeah.
all ages of people standing there.
Did
Although,
you stop
Yeah,
and
that is-
ask them why they
you're
were
right,
there?
You're right,
I don't
yeah.
want to, no, Mr. Mayor, I don't.
You're saying
So
it's on the
could-
left side instead of on the right side?
As we're going up to 98, it's on the left side. sir.
Okay, but you're saying that they're stopping, waiting for a bus
No,
to
they're
come through?
waiting.
Is it because
For a
of the
bus.
shade?
Well, I don't know,
Oh,
but they're
oh.
waiting. Different people are waiting.
Okay. So we don't know what it's for?
So it's
There
a
could be a me-
makeshift.
It could be a
I
meeting
don't know,
place.
but it
Makeshift.
might be a bus stop. Can we investigate?
Yeah, we can look into it. Typically, your bus stops are designated.
That's
If
not
there
the
isn't
school.
a bus
There's a
stop,
school
it's probably
near
not
there.
an official stop. The bus driver should not be stopping there if there's
Well, I
not
don't
an
know.
official
I don't know,
designation.
but I mean, if you got people standing there, I don't think they do that on a normal.
Something was
average
brought
day.
up to me just now. There is a daycare center in that proximity.
Okay, is that out of our jurisdiction? Ryan?
Well, we'd have to petition to have a stop there because they're all designated. I mean, the bus driver can't just stop wherever he sees people.
Okay.
It has to be
No,
designated.
But look, people are waiting there, there's no shade, right?
Understood.
And maybe we can help them, okay?
Yes,
That's,
and we should probably
Wait a
look-
minute, wait a minute. That's a daycare. That's a private business.
Correct?
That's correct.
So
You said we
the city cannot get
No,
involved.
not
say we
stop
could
in their
continue-
premises. They can stop in the public
It's a private
right-of-way in, if it's a designated stop,
Isn't that
but
day-
not in their property.
Is that daycare a public agency?
Did he
Because
say
it's
we-
on public property, which is, used to be city property, Rockwood School.
I don't know, maybe Norma can tell us.
I mean,
Yes,
Norma Aguilar, 839 Heber Avenue, about 2 blocks away. That's a daycare center, and the people that you see waiting there are people that are waiting to cross the street to take their kids to the daycare center, and they don't use the crosswalk.
It doesn't look that way, but maybe, I'm not saying you're.
thank you,
wrong.
Ms. Aguilar.
I swear to God, they look like they're waiting for a bus.
All right, anything else on this item?
No.
No, acknowledged received? No, he was just waving and saying hello. We're going to go to number 20, status report by Public Works Department on public restrooms, Andrade and Holdridge Storm, drain, water fountains, and park benches, 2-year education and action plan for Measure D, Rockwood and Pollen lighting, bus shelter, and bus stops. Mr. Servina, I guess. And so you're going forward with the park benches and water fountains?
Yes, we had bids, and we're reviewing them right now, trying to qualify them, and we should be coming at you with the award of the bid.
And how long have you been working on this project? For the park benches and water fountains?
I think we've been trying to work on this grant for several years already.
All right, thank you. And that was just primary concern on that one. Any other comments from the council members?
Well, it's been a long time, but I'm glad we're doing this. Thank you.
Acknowledge receipt. Number 21, status report regarding traffic congestion solution near Cesar Chavez Elementary School. Chief's not here. Everybody has a report before them. You have any questions? They're not going to be answered anyway, Chief's not here.
Yeah, and typically this happens every time the school year starts. That's when we get this issue that seems to come up every year, because I know it came up last year. Obviously, I don't know if that continues throughout the year. We'd have to monitor that to see if in fact it does continue throughout the year. You have that in the report where are certain concerns, obviously, that we'd have to take a look at. The residents around there, are they going to complain if we put a walkway through there? Is it a proper place to put a stop for people to stop on a residential roadway that's not next to the school? There's some other issues that come up, so.
Yeah, like a gate? It needs a gate, and there's no gate?
Well, the gate's probably the easiest part of everything, to put a gate in there. It's more the issue of traffic circulation for the area, not just for the school. So, if you'd like us to bring this back when the chief is here, just let me know, and we'll put it back on the agenda.
Does
think
anyone
we've-
have comments on it?
We've seen a trend in a lot of parents driving their sons or daughters to school whereas back in the day, a lot of the kids took bikes or walked. And
In the
so-
snow backwards.
I'm sorry?
In the old days, they walked in the snow backwards.
Yeah, but I
Thank
noticed
you.
that Kennedy Gardens has a drop-off point, which is pretty congested, two of them. Dual School has two drop-off points, the side and the front. Many of the schools, we live in a car society, and that's what I've seen throughout the years, that a lot of parents are just dropping their, and I'm guilty of one, you know. And because of the subdivisions that are built, I mean, there's, you know, look at the area for Dual School encompasses Villa de Oro and all the area up to Second Street. And so I think it's, I think it is the times that we live in which allows a lot of the driving to school. And then there's no bus service, which is also, the bus service has been suspended unless you live out in the country. And even those are really affecting us too as well. So. But maybe another drop-off point, maybe 3 drop-off points to ease congestion in and around the schools.
What we can do, if you'd like, because the practices that we're starting is that when an item comes up, if it's something that you want to look at, then you give city manager direction, and we put it back on the agenda so the full council can discuss it and give direction. So if that's what you'd like to do, then we put it on the next agenda as a business item.
Then
believe
please
it's more
include
serious
it
attention.
on the next agenda. Okay, that's it. Now we go to future agenda items. Any future agenda items? Mr. Hodge.
Well, it's just reiterating
Mr. Hodge, it's 8:12, and you said,
8:20.
Yes.
So I'll talk for 10 minutes and I'll win. No, seriously, maybe you can solve my concerns now, but we still need a report on have we solved the dispatcher problem? Can I have a report next time, or are we ready for this?
Yeah, we'll have to do it next time when
Again,
the chief is here.
not
Yeah.
All right, then, I'll be patient and wait, but it is a serious issue, but I hope we have. And I respect Mayor Romero's, suggestion that this has to be permanent, it has to be solved, and it can be solved other than Measure D. But the point is, it has to be solved.
anything else, Mr. Hodge?
That's it.
You have 8 more minutes.
Don't.
No, never mind.
Don't.
Never mind. I know you'll take them. Mr. Moreno.
Yes. Well, I don't have any future agenda items. I just want to applaud you, Mayor Romero, on taking the strong leadership stance tonight and addressing some of the negative comments that are out in the community. I know that you've done well, and then you continue to do well, so I applaud you once again for addressing this issue and taking the bull by the horns, no pun intended, and moving forward.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
On that point?
Yes.
I think it's very unfortunate, and it puts a bad blemish for us in Calexico for those kinds of things to happen.
Bill,
I understand they have a right for their situation, but Mayor, you are a man of integrity, and I respect.
Here, here.
I respect who you are and what you believe in. So I say that.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge. He interrupted you. Are you finished?
Well,
I'm sorry, John,
that's okay.
but it's okay to interrupt.
Bill's
you,
always
not
riding on my
anybody else.
coattails. That's okay, Bill. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
It's a good point. Good
Okay,
comment.
Mr. Castro.
No comments. No comments at this time.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Hurtado.
I just wanted to clarify my question about the conflict of interest for you, Mr. Castro. Just to say a little bit more about why I feel it's important right now is that, for example, in my case, I live in a home that was at the Hearthstone development here in Calexico, and I haven't been able to participate in any of those conversations, not give any suggestions or any recommendations. I have been completely out of that conversation 100%, because I live there and it's beneficial to me because I live there. So I understand that. So in this case, I believe that it's an important question to understand and to clarify what relationship there exists, because we don't want to be having improper conversations where there is that input. If you do have that financial relationship and benefit from the bus company, then in order for, in ensuring that we're providing transparency, that we know what is proper and what is not proper for that involvement. I understand it fully. That's why I ran for city council, because I saw what happened in my neighborhood, and I was so upset that I took action and ran. And when I had the position, I realized I couldn't even talk about it. So I think that that's a question out there that's very serious right now, especially with yesterday's meeting. And I saw that Mr. Castro did not participate yesterday, so I need to know. I want to understand, and I would like that to be on a future agenda item, that clarification for all of us. I think it's appropriate, and if there is a financial tie, so that we can all understand that once and for all.
City Manager? Okay. Okay. Anything else, Mayor Pro Tem?
That's all.
Thank you. City Manager, I have 2 items, and I have 4 minutes. At the last week's budget meeting, I got stuck when I said parks, and I lost my train of thought. One of the things is the issue of the maintenance of the parks, and the other thing is the use of the parks, which is recreation. Before I came into council, I thought that both should be under one. I've always believed that. But after digesting that, I believe that they should not be under one. One thing is the maintenance and the upkeep, which has nothing to do with recreation. And the other one is just trying to use the fields and whatever's out there to, so they can do their user programs. I would like to either, if necessary, and I know that the budget is a working document, a live document, you can always make changes here and there. But I would also like to take into serious consideration is almost to revert that issue of the maintenance of the parks where it was assigned before the change.
The reason for that move was because, if you will recall, in the budget message and what I believe the plan is that we're also going to be looking at, when we look at the reduction of staff in the organization, we're also looking at the contracting opportunities. And the reason that move was made in the budget was because we currently only have one individual in parks. That's the official total of their staff in parks. And so the idea was that in the very near future, that provides an opportunity so that we can then look at what we do with that individual currently is out, and maybe expand the services that we're currently contracting out in the parks so that, in fact, the contracting agency actually takes care of all the parks. And so the only function would be as a contract administrator, basically administering the contract to make sure that the level of service provided to our parks is being upheld by the contractor. So that goes, so it's not like we have a full staff of parks people that we need to administer. I tend to agree with you. If we had a full staff of parks people that we needed to administer, then there would be probably two different areas of expertise that need to handle it. But given that we're moving towards a contracting of the park system, which we basically have now because we only have one individual, then it makes, to me anyway, it makes sense that the person who is going to be making the scheduling of the parks would also know the condition of the parks. And they would not be doing the maintenance because all they would be doing is just making sure that the parks the contract is being adhered to. And the problems that we've had in the past is because we've had 2 different masters and 2 different areas, and that's the problems that we've gotten to in the past.
But at a recent meeting, I believe we were able to resolve the issue of the 2 different masters.
Well, I can guarantee you that's going to happen again.
Well,
if we leave it the way it is.
I really firmly believe that if it stays under this other one, it's going to be much more political than it is right now. One of the things also that happens under the recreation, say the recreation budget, when there's a request not to honor increase in fees or waiving of fees on certain events, then the one that's getting hit is that department itself. Well, when it's in the other one, it is not. So there's a combination of issues there that maybe you and I can follow up with further discussions.
I would just ask you to give it a chance and see if it works. We can always revert back if it doesn't work.
Excellent. Always revert back. The other thing is that, that's a future agenda item. But he's convinced me to let it work. We can always revert back. So no, we're not going to have the chart before us for the next meeting. The other thing is the issue of, which was discussed earlier today, regarding no teeth in the enforcement of uncollectible business license fees. I have asked many times why this has never been addressed in a more serious part by this council. And I think it's too much time has passed by. City Attorney, I would like some language for consideration of this council of, after some reasonable time has elapsed and the collections have not been made, that for the, not only for them to be sent to collections, but also even to initiate a consideration of a misdemeanor. Anything else? Is that clear, City Attorney?
Right, so you wanted the city attorney's office to come back with essentially
Language?
language for an ordinance that talks about this?
Yes.
Okay.
That addresses that if so much time has passed by, after a reasonable time, whatever the trend is with other cities, not just something that we're going to give them 30-day notice kind of thing, but something structured where the business understands that if they do not meet their obligations by a certain time, at a reasonable time, that it could go into a misdemeanor.
Put teeth into it.
Yes. And that's one of the reasons why it's at $600,000. You put teeth into it, I can assure you it's going to come down really quick. Okay? City Manager?
Yes, sir.
All right. It's 8:22. You're late, Mr. Hodge.
Well, that's because you were talking a lot.
Adjourned.